Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. Uchenna James, and today is another Monday, and we are here live for our weekly Monday webinars. Today's topic is read the chain like a pro. So, what chain are we talking about? The options chain, of course. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Uchenna James, Badass Stock Options Trainer. We're going to meet here live every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get started. Okay. Every Monday, I'm going to teach you a new money skill, something that can help you become a badass stock options trader like me. One money skill at a time. Last Monday, we talked about covered calls. Today, it's all about the stock options chain. So, if you followed my webinar last Monday, your stocks should be paying you rent. That's all about covered calls. So, make sure you watch that replay, subscribe, like my channel, Dr. KJ Trades. Much appreciated. So, what exactly is an option chain? I'm going to show you a live demo on the platform that I use, Thinkorswim, and I'm going to show you how I customize my option chain. So, welcome. And next Monday, bullet pair, we don't care. One strategy for up or bullish markets, and one strategy for down or bearish markets. So, make sure you guys are joining me every Monday at 7 p.m. Let's get started. So, what are you going to walk away with tonight? The map. What exactly an option chain looks like? What side do I trade and when? And this is going to be in plain English, not some esoteric trading jargon. I'm going to make sure that you understand exactly what you came here for. What is a bid and ask? And how do I use them? Where do I place my trades? Also, where the real money sits, the volume, the open interest. We're going to be talking about and breaking down all that terminology this evening. The vocabulary decoded, premium, strikes, delta, theta. Talk like you belong, queen, because you do. So, what is the big idea? You never would take a pill or medication without reading the label, right? The option chain is the market's label, okay? The dose, interactions, warning, all of it is located on the option chain. I read labels for a living. Tonight, so do you. So, what is an option chain? It's the menu. Every contract you can buy or sell on a stock, every strike, expiration date, both directions, it's all on one screen. You have the calls on the left side. That's what you want to buy when you think the market's going to go up. You have the puts on the right side. That's what you buy when you think the market's going to go down. Or you could be a seller of calls and a seller of puts. Just remember, calls are on the left side, puts are on the right side of the option chain. And I'm going to give you a complete demo momentarily. And what is the middle spine? Those are your strike prices. Those are the price levels. Every row is one price that the stock may or may not reach. And of course, you have the expiration. Same menu, different deadlines, weeklies, monthlies, some of them are even dailies and beyond. Everything the market believes about a stock with the prices attached. Okay, so what exactly is the bid? The bid is where we sell our options at. Okay, it's a column on the option chain. That's what the buyers are offering right now. When you sell, like a covered call, this is roughly your price. The ask is what sellers are demanding right now. When you buy, you're buying at the ask price. The spread is a difference between the ask and the bid. This is basically the market's toll booth, okay? So tight spreads, meaning the close in numbers, those are the stocks that we want to buy options on. If the bid ask spread is wide, meaning less than or greater than 10%, we're losing money immediately when we enter the option. I'm going to show you an illustration. Okay, check out this illustration I made for you guys. It's the bid ask spread comparison. So, like I said before, you always buy at the ask and you sell at the bid. You want to keep it where it's less than 10%. So you can just do the math. The bid, one minus your bid over divided by your ask. If that is less than 0.1, then it's at less than 10%. Okay, pro tip. The biggest determinant of the narrow bid ask spread is the trading volume. Okay, you want your open interest to be greater than 100 contracts. And also, the most liquid expirations are going to be the options that expire the third Friday of the month. So those are the ones that are most heavily traded. So those are the ones that are going to be the highest volume options, meaning that they're going to have the tightest bid ask spread. Okay. When a stock also has high volatility, it can also widen out your bid ask spread. So this is a graphic that I made a long time ago. Let's get started. Let me show you what a bid ask spread actually looks like. So if you look at the SPYs, right? I'm going to go to the 1 year, 1 day. I'm going to open up the trade tab, which will show you the option chain. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of this so you could just see what I'm talking about. Okay. So by default, the option chain always has an ask and a bid. So what I talked about before is the calls are on the left side, the puts are on the right side of the option chain. Okay. You're always going to buy the option, I'll put that in green, at the ask, and you're always going to sell the option at the bid. Okay, so make sure you see that. The calls are on the left side of the option chain. The puts are on the right side of the option chain. I circled those in yellow. Then where you buy at is called the ask price. I circled those in green. Where you sell at is the bid price. I circled those in red. So like what we talked about last week, if you want to sell like a covered call, you would click on the bid, left click, whatever expiration date that you choose, and whatever strike you choose, that's the option that you want to get into. Make sure you're selling at the bid. Let's say you believe that the SPY is going to go up and you want to buy a long call for 7 days out. You make sure that you pick the expiration July 27th. This 7 right here will show you that it's 7 days out. Okay. That means it's 7 days out. So that's the option. Let's say you're saying, okay, I don't want to be in it for a long time. I think that the SPY is going to go up $3 within 7 days. So what is it currently trading at? Right now, the SPY is currently trading at $742.09. Okay. The SPY is not a stock, right? It's an index. It holds a basket of 500 stocks. But I'm going to use this example so I can show you how tight the bid ask spread is. Okay. So let's go. Oh, my circles that I circled kind of got unleveled. Actually, I want to be able to make it more clear for you guys. Okay. So let me just recircle that real quick. The ask, I'll put it right here. Ask, oops, ask. Ask is where we buy. Remember, the left side is the calls, the right side is the puts. And I'm color coordinating it so you can see usually when you buy something, it's green. When you sell something, it's red. Okay. So that's a little color coordination. So what else is really important? Your strikes, your expirations. All this is super important to know before we pick the right option. Okay. So let's customize our option chain. We need to know that the SPYs right now, the market is closed for trading, for trading stock options. There is after hours trading, I believe, until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can only trade stock options from 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's say I think that the SPYs are going to go up $3 in the next 7 days. Okay. So I chose the expiration of July 27th, which actually expires in 7 days because today is July 20th. So the SPYs are trading at, when the market closes, trading at 742. What strike am I going to purchase? Okay, because I think it's going to go up. So I want to buy a long call. So $3 move is not that much, right? Also, something I want to highlight to you is something called implied volatility, which is right here. And this is specific to each expiration. What this means is that by July 27th, the market is expected to move, the SPY is expected to move up or down $12.27. Okay, so I like to look at this implied volatility so I can see if what I think is going to happen is reasonable. Okay, so if I say like the SPY is going to move up $30 in 7 days, I mean, could it happen? I guess it could happen. But then I look at my implied volatility and the expected move is up or down $12. I need to temper what my expectations are of that $30 move, right? So let's just use the example that I said $3. Okay. So the SPY right now is trading, well, when it closed at 4 p.m., when the market closed at 4 p.m., it's trading at 742. This is actually showing you after market trading right here. But when the market closed today, it closed at 742. I think it's going to be at 745 by July 27th. Which option am I going to choose? Okay. So I only have $1,000 to spend on this option. So that's another thing. I have to take account into how much money that I actually have into my account to trade. Because the more your option gets in the money, remember the shaded side is in the money. That means it has intrinsic value. If it's out of the money, it has no intrinsic value. All of my calls that have intrinsic value that are in the money, those strikes are less than where the stock is trading at. So I think that the market's going to go up $3 in the next 7 days. It makes sense for me to buy my option in the money, so it increases the probability of my option being in the money on expiration. So what is another factor that I can use, another terminology that I can use that shows you the percentage of my option being in the money? Remember, delta. So let's customize this. Right now I have volume and open interest up that I'm going to talk to you about. I also want to add my delta. Okay. What is my delta? My delta is the percent probability of my option being in the money on expiration. In order for me to make money on my calls, I needed to be in the money. So, and I have $1,000 to spend. So I think it's going to go to 745. What I'm going to do, I can spend up to $1,000, right? Which is the 736 strike. What is that delta? That delta is 68. So that's a 68% chance of my option being in the money by expiration, which is July 27th. Let's do it. Okay. So that's this strike here, 736, expiring July 27th. It's going to cost me $1,000 to do that. And what exactly does that mean? So I bought the 736 strike. That means in order for my option to make money, have a $3 move, it's going to go from 742 to 745. I'm still in the money. I'm still making money. How much money am I making? I'm making about $68 for every dollar move. But look here. This open interest is only 3. That's not good. We want our open interest, which is how many actively traded option contracts are actually being traded right now. We want them to be over 100. The more open interest our option contracts are, the easier it is to get in and out of our option contract. So I don't like that option. I'm not going to buy that option. Remember what I said, that the options, the ones that have the tight bid-ask spreads, are the ones that have an open interest of 100 contracts. Also, options expiring the third Friday of the month. And we want to keep our bid-ask spread tight, less than 10%. Okay? So make sure we're looking at the volume and the open interest. And if you registered for the webinar tonight, you get a free option chain reading guide. Okay. So what this is, it just gives you the definitions of the different option chains and teaches you like how to customize it. So what is the volume on our option chain? The volume is the number of contracts traded today. Higher volume means active interest and tighter spreads. Open interest, the total number of outstanding contracts, okay? A high open interest means established interest and better liquidity. What does liquidity mean? Basically to be able to get in and out of your option contract at ease. Okay? So before we go back to the slides, I'm going to go back to this option chain because the strike that I wanted to buy that fit my budget did not fit my open interest rules. So I'm going to forego that. I like my volume to be over 1,000, and I like my open interest to be over 100. So look at this. All the ones that are in the money, most of them, seem to be open interest is low. But all the ones that are out of the money, the open interest is high. Now, what that tells me is that by July 7th, July 27th, in 7 days, more people expect the SPYs to finish out of the money. That's important to know because if we're a buyer, the only way we can make money on our option is if it's in the money. So to me, it seems like more option contracts are actually being sold on the call side. So more people are selling calls than buying calls because you only have 7 days, right? And as a buyer, we need the option to finish in the money, so in the purple shading. But as a seller, we need our option to finish out of the money. So if you're buying an option, the 750 for an example strike, that's a 28% chance that your option is going to finish in the money, yeah, it'll cost you $200. Yes, the open interest is high, but that means that the SPYs, the SPY that controls 500 shares, needs to move at least $8 up, okay, for this 750 strike to be profitable. Can it do it? Yes, I told you before that this implied volatility by in 7 days it can move up or down $12. I just don't feel confident based upon these numbers of being a buyer of the SPYs within 7 days. So, do you see how you can use the information on an option chain to make educated decisions on whether you want to be a buyer or seller or even pick another stock? Okay. I'm not confident being a buyer of the SPYs based upon this open interest when I see the open interest out of the money is so much higher and it's only 7 days to go. As a buyer, I need my stock or my index to move, right? So I need to give it some wiggle room. So if I really think it's going to move, I'm probably going to pick another expiration. Okay. Remember, the third Friday of the month is the most liquid expirations. All the ones that are yellow are weekly. The ones that are white are already notated for you that those are the third Friday of the month. So let's go further out. August 21st. That's the third Friday of the month. Look at this now. Do you see the difference in the open interest? Now that I picked a further expiration, I picked the third Friday of the month. Look at the difference with the open interest. My open interest for this particular one, 66 Delta, is 20,000 contracts. I can't afford it though because it's $2,329. So I can't afford to buy this one. Okay. So that's how I want you guys to process if you can get into a certain option or not. Okay. So we have the ask and we have the bid. Those are already always going to be on your option chain. We added delta, which is the rate of change of your dollar move of the stock, how much money your option is going to make or lose. And it also is the definition of delta, tells you the probability of your option being in the money by expiration. As a buyer, we need our option to be in the money by expiration. Okay. As a seller, we want our option to be out of the money by expiration. What else? Open interest and volume. Okay. I want to add another one. Let's add something called theta. So you can go to theta or you type in whatever you want to add. You hit add. So now this is automatically going to show up on my option chain. So if you're ever confused on what to add or how much to add, just go into this drop down box right here. They've already have some pre-populated ones for you. I usually go to the customize column set. Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry. And that's what I want to add. So on my chart, I usually always have volume, open interest, delta, theta. I usually have gamma as well, which is the rate of change of your delta. And that's pretty much it. I don't want my option chain to be too busy because then it's hard for me to see what's going on. Okay. So this is basically it. And if you like your delta like I do closer, what you can do, go back to the customized column set and click on this and then move it down. So use these arrows, move down. I like my theta right next to my delta, then the gamma, then open interest and volume, then hit OK. So now do you see how now the delta is next to the bid, then we have the theta and the gamma. So that's how you customize those columns on your option chain. Let's go back to the slides. Okay, so we talked about the bid and we talked about the ask. Volume and open interest. Volume, how many contracts are traded today? Open interest, how many contracts exist and remain open? Okay, so the 5 second liquidity check. 1,000 plus volume is a tight spread. What does that mean? It means the ability to get in and out of your contracts easily. The real open interest is your strike. If the chain is a ghost town, walk away. So if there's a difference between your ask and your bid, if that number is large, you do not want to trade that option contract. There's always another stock. Let me show you the way that looks. So I use the example of the spies because look at how tight these are. And the market is closed, so that will skew some of the numbers a little bit as far as the options trading. But by default, we already know, look at this one right here, this open interest. So if you look at this row here, this open interest of 20,510 contracts, this is the ask. $23.29, and this is the bid. Okay, so rule of thumb, I like to divide whenever your question on is this bid ask spread less than 10%, go to 23.29, the bid. Oops, I'm sorry. The bid is 23.10. So 23.12 divided by 23.29 equals, and then you could just go -1. So is this number less than 10%? Absolutely. Okay. It's way less than 10%. Let me show you one that you may want to trade. Like, Uchenna, oh my God, I heard about this stock. I want to put options on it. And I'm going to be like, okay, show me the option chain. Let's pull it up. I am not going to tell you I have not bought options on this. I'm not going to tell you I have either. But Melly is a high flyer. Okay, if you look at the chart, this is what. So this stock moves a lot. It's an $1,800 stock. It moves like 1% a day on average. Let's look at the option chain. First of all, red flag. Some of these open interest contracts are zero. That means nobody's trading it, right? And some of them are 100 or more. But let's do the math, right? I told you bid divided by ask, or 1 minus bid divided by ask. Let's take a look and see. So let's say I wanted to do the 70 delta contract. Let's just take a look and see what the numbers are, just for kicks. So we're going to use this line here. So we already know red flag, volume 1, and NA is usually because the market's closed right now. So I wouldn't pay any attention to that. Look at those when the market's open. But an open interest of 27 is an absolute red flag. Now let's do the math. 162. So I'm doing the bid divided by the ask. 190.4. So 1 minus this is like 15%, right? What's bigger, 10% or 15%? 15%. So right now, this does not follow my rules. I said I only want to do option contracts that the bid ask spread is 10% or less. What does this mean? That means if I get into this stock or this option, it's going to cost me 100 so $190.40, right? Times that by 100, right? Because options control 100 shares. So if I get into this contract, I have to spend $19,000. If I want to immediately get out and sell it back, I only can sell it for about $16,000. I'm immediately losing money on this option contract. That's why it's so important to have a tight bid ask spread. Because once you get into an option contract, you want to immediately start making money. On this particular option contract, the 1720 strike expiring August 21st. As soon as I get in this option contract, I'm immediately losing almost $3,000. I don't want to play that game. Just pick another stock. Okay? Pick a stock that the bid ask spread is tight. Okay. All right. So what else? Premium decoded. The price and the option is two things stacked together. So what is our option price? That's our ask price, right? You have the intrinsic value, the real in the money worth of the option, what the contract would be worth if it expired this second, and you have the extrinsic value. That's like your hope premium, what buyers pay for time, possibility, the part that melts away every day. That's the theta. And the sellers, they collect that. Okay. So that's basically what makes up the option price. Now, if you look at the option chain again, let's do a different stock like the SPY is very low. We'll do Apple. Apple's very liquid. Oh, Apple's down $7 today. It's a kind of an ugly day for Apple. Lost 2%. But let's look at the options trader. We don't care because options traders makes money when the market goes up and when the market goes down. So let's look at the third Friday of the month. Those are our most liquid options. Now look at these bid-ask spreads. They're pretty tight, right? 25, if I bought let's see, 70 delta. This option open interest says 0. I'm not sure. I think that has something to do with the market being closed, but I'm not going to touch that one. I'm going to touch the one that has 9,000 open interest contracts. So let's look at this one. So it's like a 70 delta, but look at the price. I said I only could spend $1,000, so I can't afford this. This Apple right now is trading at $326 a share. I can't afford it because I said I only want to spend $1,000. Can we go out of the money? Yeah, we could buy an option contract out of the money, but we just know that we need it to move. Okay. So when you go out of the money, just know that the probabilities of your option contract that you bought getting in the money are just lower. Okay, they're going to be cheaper options. So let's say you wanted to spend you only had $1,000 to spend. So this is the one I want, right? But then I can't afford it because I have to spend $2,015. So let me find another one. If I still want to trade Apple, I only have $1,000 to spend. Now I got to find open interest of 9,000. This option is going to cost me $840. My delta is 42. So what does that mean? There's a 42% chance of this option that I bought being in the money by August 21st, which is in 32 days. Where does it have to go? Right now it's trading at 326. I need it to at least make a $10 move. Look at this. Remember the implied volatility? That shows us that Apple in the next 32 days can move up or down $25. Okay. So 335. Let's look at that. Does that seem realistic where Apple can go? Well, yesterday it hit 335, but look what also's in the way. On July 30th, Apple has earnings. Now, this is really important for us when we're making the decision on what option that we want to get into, because this can either make Apple go up a lot or it can make Apple go down a lot. So make sure that you're looking at these things before you just jump into an option contract. All these are going to affect whether your option is going to make money or lose money. And guess what? We in the market to make money, baby. So we got to choose the right option. Okay. So as of right now, I'm not feeling confident with buying Apple. I even out of the money, in the money because of earnings. And it is earnings season. Okay. So you got to find one like an option contract that doesn't have earnings, maybe in the next 30 days that you can afford. Okay. The probability. Okay. So also the delta, we talked about that. The column that tells you the odds. So delta, when I'm a seller, I'm selling out of the money because in order for me to make money as a seller, I need my option contract to stay out of the money by expiration. As a buyer, I want to buy options that are in the money usually, unless I think it's going to make a big giant move, go from out of the money to in the money. But that's basically the only way you can make money closer to expiration. As a buyer, when you're buying out of the money, you need your stock to now to go up as a if you're a call buyer and get in the money so you can make money on that option chain. So if I'm going to buy a 30 delta, that means I think that option is going to move. If I'm going to sell a 30 delta, that means I think the option is going to just kind of like stay where it's at because I have a 30% chance of it being in the money or 70% chance of it staying out of the money. So as an option seller, I like 30 delta. Okay. So the delta is the market estimate of the odds of the option finishing in the money. A 30 delta call has a 30% chance of getting in the money or 70% chance of staying out of the money, which favors the seller. Last week covered calls, we sold 30 deltas. Now you know why. Because we were betting on that 70% of that option staying out of the money. Okay. The higher the delta means the higher the premium, the higher the money you have to pay, but worse odds for the seller. The lower the delta, safer, but so it's safer because less money is needed, but the odds of you ending up in the money are lower. Okay, the higher the delta, the worse odds for the seller. The lower the delta, the better odds for the seller, the worse odds for the buyer. Okay. They gatekeep with vocabulary. We pick the lock. I let AI do my slide, y'all. This time, I'm not doing that no more. Okay, let's go. So put it together. The anatomy of one row. Let's say we want, we have a $50 stock. We sold and we have a $55 call, 30 days out, reading left to right. You need to know your strike. This is the price level the contract is all about. You need to know your bid ask, right? Make sure it's tight. You buy at the ask, you sell at the bid. You need to check your volume. You need to check your open interest, and you definitely need to check your delta. Okay? So if I'm doing a 30 delta as a buyer, that stock better move because I need that delta to be in the money by expiration. As a seller, I'm good because now I have a 30% chance of it actually getting in the money, which is a 70% chance of it staying out of the money. And as a seller, that's what I want. So I can sell the 55 strike call for about 95 cents or $95 because it controls 100 shares. The market is liquid based upon the volume and the open interest. And I have 70% odds on my side. Okay, so make sure you understand how to read the option chain. So a wide spread, no, we're not going to do it because we immediately lose money when we enter the trade. Under 1,000 contracts on open interest, no. That means it's going to be difficult for us to get in and out of the trade when we want to. Earnings inside our expiration, we saw that with Apple. The premium looks juicy because the risk is juicy. Just know why the rent is high before you take it. So know why the premiums are high because it's closer to earnings. Okay. Meme and penny stocks, they do not follow rules. Okay. Just the experience, I've noticed that the meme and penny stocks sometimes they have wide bid-ask spread, but they have high open interest. So you got to look out for that. Okay. Reading the label also means knowing when not to take the medicine. Okay. So you pick the stocks, reread the chain. Anyone want to drop a ticker in the chat that you actually own or want to own? And then we'll play with it from there. In the meantime, I'm just going to pick some and let's read it together. And thank you everyone for joining me today. Much appreciated. Okay, so like NVIDIA, for an example. I always bring up NVIDIA because I love it so much. So right now, NVIDIA is trading, the stock is trading at 203.28. Okay, that's what the price was when the market closed at 4 p.m. Let's say, if I look at the chart, let's say I think NVIDIA is going to go up. It bounced off this level of support of 195. It had a little pullback. It had a green candle today, even though there was more selling than buying because it's filled in. Let's see. The AI trade has been selling off a lot, but let's just say we're bullish on NVIDIA. What the heck? The most liquid options are the ones that expire the third Friday of the month. What day is that? August 21st. That's 32 days away. So I'm going to pick liquid options only. You know, I love 70 Delta. However, the 70 Delta has a zero open interest. Am I going to do it? Heck no. Let's do, and I only have $1,000. So actually, I can't afford these. I can't afford any of these in the money. So let's see if we can change our expiration. Let's see what that does to our option. Let's say August 7th, which is 18 days out. Are these still liquid? Yeah. I only have $1,000. So check this out. This 200 strike call expiring August 7th. If I wanted to be a buyer, it's going to cost me $940. What is my delta? 59. That means there's a 59% chance of this option remaining in the money in the next 18 days. Okay? I'm expecting a $16 move in the next 18 days. Do I love it? The open interest is 2,904. We can do the math, but I can tell you right now, 925 over 940 is going to be less than 10%. So let's also check for earnings. Earnings already happened on May 20th. So on August, there's no earnings before we put on the option contract. So this is an example of a trade. If you believe that NVIDIA is going to go up, you could put on this trade because it fits our rules. The open interest is high, 2,904. The volume's at 559. The delta is not where I want it to be, but that's okay because it fits my price target. So once I get into this trade, I need NVIDIA to go up. Okay? So that's basically the rationale of how you would pick that option. And maybe you don't have $1,000 to spend. That's fine. Then we just got to pick a cheaper stock because NVIDIA is trading at $200 a share. Remember, options derive their value from the stocks. So if that's something that we don't want to spend, if we want to spend less, then we have to just pick a cheaper stock. And we could go to our market watch to find out the different prices. What we do is we just go through here and you can see the last price is basically what it closed at. Qualcomm closed at 170, Microsoft 402, Oracle 121, IBM 213, Adobe 234, CRM 173. All these are expensive. We can go to the Russell. The Russells tend to be cheaper. Rocket Lab closed at $65 a share. CRS $5.55 a share. Credo Technology $212. Core Scientific closed at $22 a share. Let's see what that is. CORZ. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's good. And I could tell you right off the jump, I'm not liking this open interest. Well, it does fit our criteria. It's $22 a share. Let's look at the chart. Okay. So it had a major sell-off. Right now, this stock is going down. The only thing I'm putting on this is something bearish. Okay? I'm not putting any bullish on this. When you see something like this is an M for murder. I would expect it to. I did bounce off of support right here, but I don't trust this one. If anything I'm gonna do so I could do a spread, a bearish spread. I'm not putting anything bullish on this stock. Okay. So if you want to put anything on this, I will look on the put side if you want to be a buyer. Okay. If you own 100 shares, of course, you would sell it out of the money call. And these are giving some healthy premiums too. What's here? They have earnings on August 7th. So make sure whatever option that you want to pick, I would pick it before expiration of August 7th. So this July 1st, which is only 11 days out. So that's how you would go about choosing which option that you want to buy or sell. Okay. So as a recap, you want to make sure your bid-ask spread is tight. That's one of the most important concepts that I want you to understand when choosing the right option. Is the crowd present? Meaning 1,000 plus with volume. Volume, I tend to fluctuate. I want my open interest, I want it at least to be 100. The volume, if it's over 500, that's fine too. And then find your delta. Know the probabilities of your option either being in the money or out of the money. Then you decide. Okay? Everyone who registered for the class this week, I'm going to send you my option chain reading guide. So check your email after the training. So 1 hour makes you literate, 4 weeks makes you fluent. I'm offering my 4-week stock options mastery training course, $497. You get it for life, 5 modules, 30 videos, 22 workbooks. We talked about what's in it. The link is in the chat. I'm going to drop that in the chat for you and send it to your email for everyone who showed up tonight. And thank you guys for joining me tonight when we talked about our option chain magnificent Monday webinar. For first 10 women who enrolled tonight, you get a one-on-one strategy call with me, 3 more live sessions, and a full resource vault. Okay? Questions? Anybody have any questions? Well, you guys have my email. You know how to reach me. Don't forget every day, summon the best of who you are. I'm with you, Bull Bear. We don't care. Options traders get money when the market goes up and when the market goes down. Let's get paid.